Hello, I am Dr. Meenakshi Sundaram, Director for Amet Business School, Amet University, Chennai. I am going to deal with the topic hierarchical communication. Most of us we know the communication flows in an organization in various ways according to the nature and structure of the companies and institutions involved. In this presentation, I will be covering a small introduction, and second point I will be covering organizational structure, which will deal with the various types of structures involved, and third we will go to the centralized structure, and fourth we will be covering the decentralized structure, and 5 we will be covering hierarchical barriers, and 6 we will be covering the advantages and disadvantages of hierarchical communication. Hierarchy, it is nothing but a group of people involved in an organization at various levels, and we know very well, pretty well, the first level or a lower level, and the second thing is a middle level, and third one is top level. So, these are placed according to the nature of the roles performed by the individuals in an organization and depending upon their responsibilities involved. Now, everything depends on the structure of the organization. It depends on the size of the company, and the people involved are based on the roles they have to perform. An organization structure is simply a diagrammatic representation showing the various levels, various officers are involved or they are positioned, and whom to whom is reporting is a structure involved in an organization. It depends on the total number of strength of the staff of an institution or a company, as the case may be. As I told you earlier, basically there will be 2 flows of communication, top and bottom. From the top and from the bottom it goes naturally, and we have got in organizations, they are structured depending on the objectives also of a company. So, the structure is in which it is represented by the manner in which it operates and its performance. Structure allows the responsibilities in an organization to play the roles. We are going to see now the different structures involved. So, we can go for a tall structure or a flat structure, or it may be a centralized structure, or it may be a decentralized structure. These are the 4 main types in an organization. So, in a tall structure you can see that the information flows from the top to bottom and various level of officers involved. So, a long chain of command is running from top to bottom, and you could see the picture, various levels of manager involved, various staffs are involved. So, this is a type of organization which we call as tall organization structure. Going to the next advantages of it, it is nothing but they are narrow span of control, because various level of officers involved at various stages. So, naturally the control of the staff members by the head will be very quick and very fast. So, we have this is a more or less a perfect structure, and each layer is very clear and distinct. So, the responsibility and control will be very easy. Going to the disadvantages, here the freedom and responsibility is restricted, because you are often monitored by the top level manager, whomever you are reporting. So, decision making may be slowed down, because lot of changes you cannot make suddenly, because you have to cross various level of officers. Naturally this brings about high management costs, because you are involving more number of staff members to go on. And next we comes to the flat level organization structure, wherein you can see a director is involved, 2 level of managers involved, and all the officers are placed in the same line. And the advantages of it is And the advantages is employees with the most authority power will be in the top layers, most authority powers will be in the top layers, and chain of command and span of control is very much wide, that is the control is wide here. It is not the case with the flat structure. Coming to the span of control refers to the number of employees which each manager is responsible. Going to the advantages, it has got greater communication. Communication is very easy, and employees may have more than one manager, and less bureaucracy, because a lot of levels of officers are not there, so there is a chance for a less bureaucracy. And disadvantages here is reduce the opportunity. It has got a reduction of opportunities for higher level of taking strategic management. Better team spirit, it has got better team spirit. This may hinder the growth of any organization. So better team spirit is there. Going to the next, matrix level. This is matrix level. This is nothing but getting the people all over from all the nook and corners for a team. It has to be built up, and it is people from all the sections involved in the business. Often the team exists duration of the project only. For the particular project, this will be there. The structure will be as follows. So various levels of officers are specially teamed together, and this is called a matrix level of organization structure. The advantages is individuals can be chosen according to the nature, need of the project. The use of the project team, which is dynamic, and directly it is responsible for completion of the project. This project, this type of matrix people, they are normally involved till the completion of the project period only. The disadvantage of it is conflict and loyalty will be between the line managers. So because you are getting more number of people from many sections, so naturally there will be chance for a conflict, and it is difficult to monitor also because they come from different sections and pulled for a project. So it becomes difficult, little bit difficult to monitor, and naturally there is an increase in staff. Because there is an increase in staff, there will be cost will be high. So this is a problem in this structure, but it is also very essential that structure, this kind of structure is followed for a particular level of project till the completion. Yeah, next we comes to centralized and decentralized section of structures, where centralized is nothing but you keep the authority with you in a centralized power and delegate the work to the others, but the main power will be resting with the centralized structure. Say for finance, according to the financial sanction, it will be with the head only, but all the operations have to be carried by the lower level of staff. So this is centralized. According to the decentralized, so according to this structure, you can see centralized organization, there are two types. One is vertically decentralized, horizontally decentralized. As I told you, centralized, the finance will be centralized in most of the organizations, and the recruitment will be centralized in most of the organizations. So this is called as a centralized. In this type of centralized, there is one called vertical, and this is nothing but we are handing over powers to the down to the stream of level of officers to make certain decisions. Vertically it is slowed down, and the power is given to certain level of various level of officers to take certain kind of decisions. Say the financial power for a manager in level 1 will be 500 rupees, the manager 2 will be 1000 rupees, manager 3 will be 3000 rupees, something like that. Horizontal decentralization, that is nothing but it spreads the responsibility against various kinds of organization. This is nothing but a classical example could be giving a software and asking them to implement throughout the organization, that is horizontal. We are going to next. Advantages of centralized organization, it has got a greater control by the central authority, wherein you can control the entire staff members for all the technical and other problems, and it is a cost saving one naturally, and more or less people are completely monitored by the centralized system, and it is completely managed by the senior level of officers because they are all centrally sitting with a lot of experience and they can guide the people underground. So we got a strong leadership in this cadre. Coming to the advantages of decentralized, each manager can take his own decision, his or her own decision, whereby the time saving is there, and locally available because he is able to judge the cost of it also. Naturally, the reduction of cost will be also high, and people, when they are motivated, no, they get motivated because of the quick decisions taken at the level itself. Coming to barriers with regard to hierarchy, it is naturally subordinates will be having a lot of barrier because they will not be open to the executives or the higher authorities. Because of the lower level, they got the barrier in communication to inform everything to the higher officers. This is the kind of barrier which you could see in this system. In organizational barrier, we could see there is a difficulty in flow of information among the organization within the employees itself. As a result, the results will be a total failure. So, we need to take care how to solve this problem. Now, we are coming to the organizational barrier. There are 4 points here. One is rules and policies, hierarchical positions involved, and organizational facilities available, and complex organizational structure. With regard to rules and policies, we will be seeing that organizational rules, because it will be stringent sometimes, so it will be difficult and it is a barrier to the employees. So, with regard to policies, the policy will be very strict and people will not be able to follow, and there comes the lack of production or lack of cooperation and conflict. Everything will comes because of that. And with regard to status of the position, as I told you earlier, the persons who are involved in this hierarchical communication will be finding difficult that too with the lower level of staff. They will not be able to talk to the higher officers openly and tell the difficulty in problem. There is also a situation the top level people will not be also in having time to listen to all the difficulties faced by the lower level staff. And the organizational facilities is a very important point, which it will motivate and it will help for the organizational people to complete the project or complete the work. Lack of facilities involved like computer, laptop, everything, starting from phone, everything, it will be a difficulty. When it is not available, adequate and working condition, there is a great barrier to the employees to fulfill the. Then comes to complex organizational structure, and because when the organization itself has got a complex level of nature, it is very difficult to control and to cooperate. So, the organization should be simple with a good level of control, controlling officers and quite a number of staff with adequate facilities available. With regard to advantages of hierarchical communication, it is very essential to know that. So, the first advantage is clear line of authority. So, whom to report, who has to command, who has to be reported, who is there to boss over, or who is there to report, everything comes because of structure. And there is a possibility of allocating the resources, power resources, so that operations could be very easy. And here no one is confused because everyone has got strict role to play and whom has to report and what the type of report and when is to be sent, everything is very clear here. And especially for useful characteristics during the crisis period, it is going to be helpful like anything, because the structure is fixed, the reporting is fixed, the organization is got a perfect structure, then there is no problem in hierarchical communication at all. And with regard to the additional points involved, let us see that there is a clear line of communication, and so the structure is clear and hence the communication is very clear. So, there is no difficulty in understanding the process involved, and furthermore we are going to get a clear results because our communication is clear, our reporting is clear, our process is clear. So, if everything is clear, the result is also very clear. Control orientation, when there are just few products being sold, then there is a specific marketing message to be given to the employees. So, we have got a good control and orientation towards our activity. And next point is career path. Here is a clear career path can be defined, well defined in the structure, in the hierarchy. When the communication is clear, the role is clear, everything is clear. Now, there is a clear path to reach our goal. So, there is no difficulty involved. So, and there is a process of clear reporting. Because of clear reporting, no difficulty will be coming in between, because everything is solved then and there by the hierarchical reporting. Next comes specialization. When this process is repeated many times, it is a specialized one, and people become specialized in a perfect way. So, they become the in-depth specialists also, as we could see that they become experts. Yeah, there is a difficulty here. Advantages, if you could see this hierarchical communication, it is a difficulty. There is also difficulty here. People will be isolated because they are specializing, they are reporting to a particular person, particular department, and there hence the isolation is possible here. So, they isolate from themselves in the other sections of the company, and there will be a lack of interdepartmental cooperation because of this, and department becomes indifferent also in some cases. In too much of this thing, people are indifferent also. For a small business, yeah, this is absolutely, I could say it is rather very difficult, because the manager sitting there for a small business cannot do all this hierarchical level of communication in their organizations, and because if they also do this, then they will be caught up in day-to-day operations. So, it will be very difficult for a very small organizations. And more or less in hierarchical communication, as I could mention earlier also, there is a question of chance of red tapeism. Red tapeism in the sense, it takes time, the file movement will be late, and it takes time because it has to cross various level. So, there is a possibility of red tapeism, and there is a possibility of bureaucracy also, which will come in this structure. Owing to this structure with regard to hierarchical communication, and we are very much sure that restricted information also flows among the employees, because as you say that hierarchy, the communication flows, it will be difficult for others to understand what is going on. Even for a case of interest, they will not be able to know what is going on with the other departments. So, in hierarchical communication, there are a lot of advantages and disadvantages, and we have to fit in where we have to fix the type of organization. Everything is involved. What I could say now, out of all the discussions hitherto I have made so far, you could see that hierarchical level of communication is important. Yes, it is very important, but it has got difficulties in implementing in certain levels. So, finally, I could say it drastically slows down the decision making also sometimes. So, that will affect the organization production. So, what is to be there? There should be a balance of centralized and decentralized system. So, with all the structures so far involved, we could be able to see now hierarchical communication is very important, and because the information flows from top to bottom, either tall structure or a flat structure or a centralized system or a decentralized system, all this depends on the nature of the companies involved, and the nature of the product they do, and the nature of coverage they make. Everything depends on the nature of the company alone. Simply we cannot adopt a centralized system wherein we have to go for a decentralized system, because the operation becomes very difficult. So, I could end up in saying the structure of the company, the organization structure, everything has to be decided based on the coverage of the area, and hence the role played by the organization in hierarchy, in communication is very, very important. Yeah. Finally, the system of communication in a hierarchy may add cost to the company, because you are involved in so many peoples, so many levels, so many organizations. In an organization, so many levels will be there. It is adding cost to the company. So, naturally, for a small example, I could explain the hierarchical level of communication, centralized communication like this. In an university, VC is the academic head, and he passes all the orders down to the academic people in the departments, various departments, and registrar is there to control the administrative activities. So, under him lot of sections are working. So, academically the institution is covered by or controlled by the vice chancellor and the registrar, but strictly speaking we could say that all the administrative matters are carried out by the registrar, with the deputy registrar, with the assistant registrar and the superintendent and the clerk. Here comes the academic section part. We could say that Vice Chancellor is his academic head. He controls the research wing, all the academic activities of the department, syllabus, everything. And under him, all the heads of the departments are working. Under the heads of department, all the lecturers and assistant professor, associate professors are working. Each one is playing the role whereby the reporting is done in a hierarchical manner. And this system is followed in the educational industry. Whereas in companies, I could say rather it depends on the company, nature of the product, nature of the covering area, everything has to decide. So, when a company is started, it will be a small structure. Then when it grows, it branches, then all the heads will come, all the subordinates will be posted, each one will be given the responsibility of taking over the charges for financial sanction as well as for technical sanction. So, as I told you earlier, these things are to be carefully planned, carefully implemented. At any cost of time, the productivity should not be hindered. That is the whole point in hierarchical communication. That is all to end up with this lecture. Thank you.